3, 2, 1. Welcome back, beloved. I am Gordon McGee, and this is the No Pillz podcast, Love Fully Scripted. Today, I am a 30-year-old virgin going on my first date. Get some. You heard me correctly. I am a 30-year-old virgin going on my first date. If that is you, stick around. We've got something for you today. Someone wrote into a Dr. X, we will call him, who is a psychiatrist, MD, has an MPH, a former instructor of psychiatry over at Harvard Medical School, with the following question. Hi, Dr. X. I am from Brazil. Please give me your golden advice for a 30-year-old virgin on everything you have who is about to go on his first date scheduled with a foreigner in about a month. Before I get into the doctor's advice, I want to just point out a few things with the question and the person asking the question. The first being, I pray that the person you are going on this date with is also a virgin, because that will lessen a lot of the stress and pressure that may come along with dating someone for the first time in your 30s. If they are of equal inexperience or of equal experience, it's going to run a lot smoother. I would imagine that all the fears you have of being inadequate or stumbling over your words or not being prepared will just dissipate to a larger degree, knowing that this person is in the same boat that you are and is coming from the same place. What do you say? Amen? Second thing I want to point out here, dating, getting to know someone from overseas, this could be way more stressful. For example, how do you know the person's really into you and not just looking for a green card? Just saying, not looking just to escape their current habitation situation. Or there's also, and there is also the hurdle of a different language, different culture. A lot of this goes in or can impact or affect how the date turns out, how this interaction turns out. Do you trust them? Do you know them? I mean, just overseas relationships, I know they work. I know some people have found their spouses this way, but this is your first date, interaction with someone of the opposite sex, and you're a 30-year-old virgin. I just don't know if I would have taken that experience overseas the first go round, if you know what I'm saying there. Just a few of my initial thoughts when I heard the question initially, like, okay, well, it's overseas dating, meeting for the first time. I hope they're a virgin too. And how do you know it's really about love? What's the motivation for even meeting? Now, getting into Dr. X's advice here. First thing he points out, how he responds to this question, is preparation. His first point was preparation. Focus on feeling comfortable, he says, in your body through exercise and self-care within the 30 days leading up to the date. Also, work on improving your physical appearance. Now, here is what hit my mind initially. I would hope that you would have already met over the phone, virtually, that there would have been some video calls. Come on, talk to me. Like, they should already know what you look like. Do you think I'm getting on a train, plane, automobile, ship, flying, without having never seen you in real time, in person? So by this time, I should already know if you're a little bit on the husky side or a little bit on the thin side. If you're not doing this, I hope you are doing this. Do not go meet some stranger that you don't know without some video calls and getting some accountability, checking at their socials, making sure they are who they say you are so you're not getting catfished. So where am I going with that? If you're telling this person, hey, giving them advice, oh, go get yourself fit, go get yourself in shape, get your haircut done, right? Work on your physical appearance. But if that's not really who you are on a regular basis, aren't you just lying at that point? This should be a lifestyle. You should be who you are. Like, if you are an overweight gamer, like, you've got to be the overweight gamer. You can make some minor changes in 30 days, but will those changes actually stick? So in other words, if you're not accustomed to going to the gym on a regular basis, and this is not who you are, then that's not who you are. I'm not saying you should not make that change. I think if you're 30 and single, you should definitely be in the gym. You should definitely be active. You should definitely be taking care of yourself. You should get haircuts. You should brush your teeth, wash your behind. You know what I mean? You should take care of yourself, even if you're not in a relationship with someone. That's just hopefully good upbringing, you know? Who wants to walk around with an itchy butt? who wants to rock around funky all day? I mean, come on, right? So you should already be doing these things. I don't know. I don't think there's an intentional level of deception being given as far as advice, but it could come off that way. Second thing that the doctor pointed out to this question, to this 30-year-old version, mindset. Mindset. Shift your perspective from viewing the date as a life-defining event to seeing it as a practice opportunity. Interesting. Avoid attaching specific outcomes to the date and instead focus on having a good time and getting to know the other person. Man, what are you talking about right now? This could be a life-defining event. Or am I going crazy? This person that you're going to meet could potentially be your spouse. This is why we have to understand courtship versus dating. And dating has this waste my time perspective, outlook, mindset. I'm just going to keep it real. If it turns out to be something, if it doesn't, who cares? Courtship is intention. I am here to get to know you, not your body. I want to get to know your character. That's courtship. Don't waste my time, friends. Don't have me travel internationally for something that's practice. My first go around, this seems like foolishness to me. I'm not feeling this advice. Like, what do you mean? No, I'm 30 years old. If I'm 30 years old, we're 30 years old, friends. Are we really just, maybe you have the resources. Maybe you just want to take a trip and this is just a bonus, but why waste my time? Why even, it's one thing if we just meet naturally, right? Like organically. If I happen to just be in your country, if I happen to just be at the restaurant, if I happen to just be at the post office, if I happen to just be at the art gallery and we bump into each other, cool. Wasn't planned, wasn't expected. We connect, we follow up. That's one thing. But for me to intentionally plan to come see you for romantic interest, and we're talking about using the word practice? Nah, Doc, I'm not on board with that. This is potentially a life-defining event. We will not be practicing, okay? Know the difference between courtship, friends, and dating. And I encourage you to be on your courting game at 30 years old. Matter of fact, your entire life is what I mean. I don't care where you are. Because this is love fully scripted, friends. With every interaction, you are trying to determine, hear me out here, friends. With every interaction you have with this person, you are trying to determine if they will be your spouse, if they could be the mother or father to your children. This is not a light thing. This is not a light thing. This is serious, beloved. This is serious. And we should treat it that way. I know we don't want to put undue pressure, right? I know the doctor was he's trying to avoid you being too nervous, right? And you clamming up or not having a good experience or a good time on said date. But listen, you've got to approach it with intention. No intentionality, you're just wasting my time, your time. You don't know when you're going to die. Who's got time to waste? Nobody, friends. Nobody has time to waste. That is the potential outcome. 30 years old, I hope we're mature and I hope you're looking to get married. And you're not just looking to fornicate and sleep around. Focus on getting to know the character. I want to reemphasize that, okay? We want to focus on getting to know the character of the person. Not just where they work, not just how many kids they want to have, not if they're tall, short, skinny, this, not with this language they speak, but what is the nature of their character? I'm looking for how they treat other people. Ideally, if you can see them interact with their friend groups, this is what you kind of want to see. And I've kind of come to, in my widowhood here, in my singleness, I've kind of began to think, should we be alone, having dinner dates alone with people who we are not in a courtship with? And hear me out here. You want to get to know this person as much as you can before you kind of reveal your hand that you're interested in them, okay? So why can't it be more of a group setting? Why can't it be like some type of, hey, do you have a couple friends that we can come with? We can go out and hang out, do a few things together versus just being alone. Because and I've had to think about this, friends, because this is new to me. If if you date a person alone and go on these solo dates, right? These solo activities, you're already like pretending to be in a relationship kind of. And there's already maybe some extra undue pressure. So I don't know if that's conducive to taking the pressure off and having it be more relaxed. If you're one-on-one, just alone, you're already coming in with this, like there's no escape. If it's awkward, it's just awkward. There's no help for other dynamics and other characteristics and other people to get involved to maybe help out a bad experience. So I want you to chew on that. Does it make sense to be having dinner dates alone outside of courtship? Okay, third point that the doctor brought up was shyness and confidence. He also addressed shyness, explaining that it's different from introversion and can be managed by building confidence. Example, someone who is not confident and shy will stay in the corner, while someone who is confident and shy may still interact with others. I thought that was a good insight there. That was a good insight. Some tips for building confidence include recognizing that one date isn't critical and that you are often your own harshest critic. Okay, so one date isn't critical. I agree with this. I just think you need to take every interaction seriously, though, right? I wouldn't say put all your eggs in one basket. I don't say you shouldn't be so depressed or, oh, I messed up so bad. It is what it is. If God has called you to marriage, if God has assigned you this person, this is his will. If two people are supposed to be together, in the eyes of God, they're going to enjoy who you are. You're going to enjoy who they are. If you stumble over your words, if you're awkward, all that will not matter to them if this is your person, if this is your spouse, friends. This makes sense? So I think the problem here is that we're doing a lot of this. All this counsel is devoid of the owner's manual. It's devoid of faith in God. It's devoid of God overseeing your life. So all this pressure is being put on you versus having faith in God's plan for your life. Yes, friends, this is the benefit. This is the benefit of trusting the manufacturer of the owner's manual, okay? Because now you can say, hey, God, I'm going to meet this person in a group, preferably, hopefully, or finding out more about this person and so forth and so on. And I'm asking you to guide and direct my steps, shutting open doors providentially. You know, if we were supposed to get together and this is not the person you want me to be with in this group date, then let that group date not happen. Shut the doors. Right. So it can become obvious to me and plain that this is not the person you want from me. I think, there's already a sense of it being critical when you're on a date alone versus if you're just in a group setting. You need to get to know as much about this person as is humanly possible. OK, from afar, friends, from afar, if you can do that. Even if it's a remote thing, you got to do some you've got to do some snooping, maybe. Some internet stalking. Get on their social media profiles, see what they're posting, see who they interact with, see who they're following, and see if there's any similarities between your post, their post, things they're interested in, things you're interested in. Before you go out there and take flights and spend money, resources, and time, when you may be able to identify something that beyond a red flag is just a deal breaker. And don't be afraid to get your HR on, get your human resources on, do some snooping. Heck, you go to apply for a job, you better believe HR is checking your socials. They don't want to hire any wackos. And who wants to date or be in a romantic relationship with a wacko? Call your friends from HR. Find out how to find. Man, listen, I'm not saying do a background check, but I'm not telling you not to do a background check. Okay? Just putting that out there for you, friends. I think this will help boost your confidence. If you do the research, if you see some similarities, if you have something in common, you're going to be more confident coming in versus the more blind you are, the less you know, the more nervous you're going to be. This makes sense? So the more you can find out about this person, and then if you can find out if there is a mutual interest, okay, prior to the revealing of the hand, then that's even more fantastic. Confidence is going to go up. Okay, I know this person is interested. Obviously, if they said yes to getting together and hanging out, that's probably a clear indication. But, you've got to ask, sometimes you got to just be a little bit forward, men, talking to the men, and just ask the questions that are obvious. Like, hey, how old are you? Where did you go to school? Are you in a relationship now? I mean, you're 30 years old. Where do you, where are you trying to hide? If the fear the fear of being shot down, I think increases because you haven't done the research, because you haven't looked into it. But if you know a person shares a similar taste with you, you have the same religious faith and convictions, and you enjoy doing the same things. Listen, you're like, I got a few of my friends going out hiking. You know, this person enjoys hiking. They posted pictures of them hiking. Now you can, hey, you got a couple friends you can go hiking with, would like to go hiking. Boom. No pressure, super relaxed. And obviously they're probably thinking, oh, this guy's probably interested. Or she's probably thinking, this guy's probably interested a little bit. Smooth, brethren. Smooth. You want to make informed decisions. I'm just saying. All right. Now, lastly, the Bible, the owner's manual, does not record people going on dates. I had to think about this. I said, man, it doesn't record people going on dates, especially in the way that we understand dates in our modern times. Our concept of dating, with its emphasis on individual choice, individual choice, no feedback a lot of the times, recreational socialization or socializing, and romantic exploration, is a relatively recent cultural development, friends. I don't know if you ever thought about this. This blew my mind. I'm thinking like, yeah, the dating that we have going on today is new to planet Earth. Like, historically speaking, when you get into the historical records, no matter the culture, dating did not exist. This is new. I don't know why I never saw this. Like, yeah, this whole thing we're doing, this is not coming from, because, all right, how did they do it in the Bible, friends? How did they do it in Bible times? Okay, how did we do it back in the day? Family and community. Think about it. A lot of times you were finding a spouse within the family and community. The world was less connected. There wasn't trains, planes, automobiles. You were traveling on foot at one point, then by horse. So your range of meeting people was really small. Internet has just maybe there's some good to it, but also kind of just ruined us too. I mean, it's just like there's all these false expectations, false realities. We think we have more options than we really do. And the list goes on. We've covered it many times here on the No Pillz podcast. Social and economic factors, okay? And also the cultural norms that were going on during those times. Okay, marriages were often arranged, is what I'm saying, in the Old Testament or in Bible times or before the modern age in which we're living, heavily influenced by families. Your mother, your father were heavily involved. Social interactions between young men and women were typically chaperoned. Talk to me. Typically chaperoned. Going back before this modern dating age we're in, the modern age of dating that we're in now, chaperoned. Okay, and that was within the context of the family and the community. So ideally, friends, I think there would be better success with our romantic endeavors if we were in a community already that was supporting that relationship, where there was accountability, where we could get input, where we could get insights, AKA a church, other families that are good friends with your family. You know what I'm saying? Things like this. Okay, marriage was often tied to social standing, economic stability, and the continuation of family lines. This is how it was before dating. Specific customs varied among the different cultures and time periods described in the Bible. Matter of fact, I think, Asian cultures still hold to, I think about my Indian friends. They don't play around with the marriage thing, man. I'm not saying their culture is perfect when it comes to the relationships between male and females and how women are treated and versus how men are treated and vice versa. But man, they're not running around marrying 40 different people, usually on average in Indian cultures. And they're really, really excited about getting married. Like, this is a high note, man, and the families are definitely involved. We need some of that. We need some of that in our day and age right now, friends. We need to get back to some of the stuff that was working, that wasn't broke, and there was no need to fix it. And I have no idea why we've deviated from it. Men were finding their wives at wells. They were trusting in God to find their wives. Come on. They weren't dating, friends. Very intentional. And I want to say they were fishing in healthier ponds. A lot of things that we do today, we're in the wrong ponds looking for the wrong fish. And then we don't understand why we're having the terrible outcomes that we're having. And also, we're using the wrong bait. We're presenting like women and men of the night and looking for holy, faithful, committed spouses. You've got to be kidding me, friends. I'm Gordon McGee, and this is the No Pillz podcast, Love Fully Scripted, and I'm signing off, and I will catch you next week.